All righty, here we go. Hi there, Marilyn. I see you. I just set the class up. Get yourself a pole. I know you love a pole, a good pole. And we're going to be exploring joint mobility, of course, on this day, this Wednesday, mobility training. I'm pretty much recovered. I still cough a little bit. So as I'm getting into the class here, you see what I'm doing? I'm going from one side with my pole to the other side. See that? And here's the deal. Hold it with only 2 fingers. Don't do a death grip on it. Just hold with 2 fingers like that. See that? Then come over here, 2 fingers. See that? Yeah, you're more mindful of standing straight and being on your own as if you were not using the pole, but it's there for insurance, okay? Insurance, I don't know. It's there to protect. How's that? Do you see what I'm doing? I'm just going from, and you might say, well, what's the value in just moving that bar from side to side? Who cares? It's a big deal. You know why? Every time I make the transference like this, you see I'm stepping on my little stool. Let's say you don't have a lower stool. Fine. Go to your little 2-inch balance pad. Yeah, just like that. See that? So every time I transfer, you see what I'm doing? I'm doing a hinge move. And if you have a shoulder that pops and cracks, my guess is when you open and close, you start to feel a little grinding, a little, so that's why you want to go gently. That's why you want to keep your shoulders down. That's why you want to see how your shoulders are floating here. See how I'm putting a little pressure now into my stepping leg? Yeah, and every time I cross the pole, okay, across my midline, I'm connecting both sides of my brain. And God knows I need that. He knows that I need that. So, as you cross back and forth, you keep your tummy tight. You breathe in through your nose. And all you have to do is shut your mouth. And believe me, you will breathe through your nose. And yeah, I'm going to do this in a high repetition. Yeah, I am. Okay, because every time I do a little tiny 2-inch step and I come up like that, if I were with you, some of you would be coming up here and you would be dragging your toe down. I want you to pull your toe up. That's that tibialis anterior muscle and all that's around the tibialis anterior. Your ankle, your plantar fascia, your all your lower leg muscles. Pull the toe up as you pull your knee up. Then when you put your foot down into that squishy pad, see, you've got to make all those proprioceptive motions. So listen, this little thing that I'm doing right now, crossing over, and some of you are pulling your elbows back. We don't want to do that right now. We want to keep our elbows down, okay? Okay, I'll say down. See, I have to show the teachers I really do know how to enunciate. I just choose not to sometimes. Okay, look at my elbows. Is the point. This is for you, Kay and Tim. Look, when I cross over, my elbows are at my waist. Then I come in. I don't flare my elbows right now. I'm doing repeated stepping into a very squishy surface, okay? As I bring my knee up to put pressure on the foot, I lift my toe right there. That's what I want to see. I'm barefooted. I get a lot of motion, okay? A lot of motion through my ankle and foot. And I'm starting to put gentle pressure, and I'm crossing midline, and I'm doing repeated steps. Okay, now, since you've done it on a low level, and then here's a little higher, I think this is a 6 or 8 inch, and then I have 18 inch, okay? So now, some of you don't have a lower inch, I understand that. You can either choose to stay on this, or address the chair, which is about 18 inches. That's a normal chair height, okay? Folding chairs, etc. Okay, I still got my pole, correct? I'm gonna hold it with 2 fingers. Now I'm gonna shift. I'm gonna bring that leg up, but instead of doing that repeated stepping, which I already did, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna turn it here so you can see what I'm gonna do. I got my little pole, okay? 2 fingers hold, drop your shoulders, breathing in through the nose. You know what that means, right? Oh my goodness. I'm seeing 4 big old giant turkeys, okay? They're in my creek. Okay, look at my knee. See that? I'm gonna rotate. See that? Yeah, I'm gonna go across midline with my knee. Then I'm gonna come right here, see? See? 2 fingers, but I'm holding it right here in case I need to put it down and get my balance. Look what I'm gonna do. This is my hip replace side. So I'm not gonna push it, but I am gonna rotate it gently out. And then I'm gonna come right back here, okay? Now, again, I can be doing this here with a 90-degree angle here at my hip, right? My hip hinge. Or I could be doing it here, rotating in, rotating out. See here? 2 fingers. See this? Yeah. Yeah. See that? All the way out there. Right. This is my hip replace side. And if you're doing this on the chair or even on this 2-inch platform, guess what? Some of you say rib cage up, do not lean in. See how I rotated this in and out several times? What does that mean? In order to rotate, I can't have pressure in there, right? It's all coming in here. I know it. Take a big deep breath. Step on your little platform and drop your heel. See this? Then I'm going to just lean in until I feel a stretch. See, it's a straight leg. And what will work better, instead of standing back here, is standing up on your platform. Now, if I were on this lower bench, yeah, it would be a little, little more challenging. You see what I'm doing? So here's the thing. Say rib cage up. Here's my little pole. Keep switching. See? Keep switching. Drop your heel of the leg that is in back. But say rib cage up. Okay? See? Switching. If I need it, it's there. If I kind of overbalance and I'm going off the edge, put your little stick down. Okay? Tighten the tummy. Yeah? Drop your shoulders. And then come off of that platform. Okay, so this is just a little intercept right now. Okay, let's try it with foot on the floor. I'm gonna put the ball of my foot on the little pad and drop my heel. And when your foot is on the floor, see, I keep crossing. I keep crossing with my elbows not flared yet because I want to pull back and forth. Now you're going to take that leg and put it up on the platform. Now you have a different angle. Okay. Now go in the ball of the foot in the back. Drop that heel. Yes. Keep going back and forth. So you don't just sit on this pole on one side. So you're kind of trying to find your balance here, right? Right? Say rib cage up, chin tucked, keep changing. And when you change, grip your pole with just a thumb and a finger. See? Yeah, it's there if you need it, but you're not overusing. Okay, tight tummy. I'm really pushing my heel down and I'm pushing my knee forward here on the top. See that? Keep changing. Keep your elbows tucked. Elbows tucked. Elbows tucked. Take a big breath. Through the nose. Yeah. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Keep pushing and come off. Yeah, just like that. Okay. Now, that was a little interset. Now we're going to go up with the other leg. And let's say you just have a lower level one with your pad. That's fine. If you can, come up to your chair. If you can. Okay? Be careful where your foot placements are. Now I'm going to rotate in. See that? I got my little pole. Now I have to go across. And I'm going to rotate out. And as you rotate, do not lock this knee. Okay, see how I'm pushing this one out a little bit further? Yeah, tighten your tummy because this is my hip that is just talking to me every once in a while now. This is my replaced hip. This is my replaced knee. You see how I'm rotating this out? Yeah, and then I'm going to rotate it back in. Yeah, and just hold it for a few seconds, you know. Take a big breath, drop your shoulders. See how I'm going, just like that? Then I'm going to go back out. Yep. Soften up the knee, soften it up. Tight tummy. Rotate this out. You'll find out if you've got tight hips or not by doing this little move. I know it. One more rotation. Here we go. Rotate in. Soften up the knee. Drop your shoulders. Here we go. All the way out. All the way out. All the way out. All the way out. Keep your knee soft. Big breath. And then come back in. Now, some of you might say, well, how long do I do this? And I would say when this leg starts talking to you pretty loudly, then you've done it enough, okay? So that is a variation on a single leg stance. Now I'm gonna bring my pole like this, and now I'm gonna flare my elbows, see that? So from here to here, yeah, can be kind of a big deal for some of us, okay? I'm gonna move this up so you can see what I'm doing with my feet. Okay, so here I am. See how I'm flaring my elbows back? Okay, now those elbows pull back without dropping. That's a big deal for some of us because when you go to do this, it might catch in your shoulder. If that's you, drop your shoulders, drop your elbows, and then squeeze those elbows together. Okie dokie. So now I'm going to go up into my toe box, and then I'm going to go back into my heels. I'm going to do a little rocking back and forth. See that? So maintain good neutral posture. You're going to reach out with the pole. All right. Now when I come back, go into the toe box, take a big breath through your nose. See how I'm pulling my elbows back? and I'm bringing this bar right across, right underneath the clavicle, I know it. So it's right here that I get a lot of little cheaters. I won't mention names. See this? See what I'm doing with my wrists? Okay. So I won't mention names, but I just want to make sure, Marilyn, you pay attention to this, okay? I didn't say, I just said pay attention, okay? Don't drop your wrist here. Pull those elbows back. Get that bar right under your clavicle, right there. Pull those shoulders back. They're squeezing. Your wrist is in neutral. Pull the elbows back. Hold it there. Then drop it down. Woo! Take a big breath. Now, hand over hand. Yes. Hand over hand. Now, if this was just a normal day, I would just keep doing that. However, this is our mobility day, right? So what am I going to do? I've already warmed up all my leg. So I'm going to step forward into a split stance. But when I step forward, I'm going to be on my little balance pad. See that? So rib cage up. I'm going to go hand over hand, hand over hand. Notice the height of the elbow, wrist, and shoulder. That's what I want you to notice. Do not be leaning in like this. I want you right up here in neutral posture. Okay, so grab your bar. See how I'm right here in a split stance? Now, if you want to make this very challenging, take the split stance and bring it into a wide but a tandem stance. What's a tandem stance? It's where one foot is directly in front of the other foot. Now, if it's even closer, we'll do that, but not right this minute. I just want to be in a split stance. If you want to make it challenging, bring it in line. And then, look at this. Every single time that I turn and I do hand over hand here, I drop my shoulders, take a big breath, hand over hand, and I'm fighting for my balance. And where is my wrist, my elbow, and my shoulder? Say rib cage up, drop that chin in, and you're really fighting for balance here, I hope. And we're gonna do hand over hand. Don't do it quick. If you do it quick, you're gonna be off of that. You're gonna be off of that little balance pad really quickly. See? Take a big deep breath. It's a slow, even movement. Okay? And I'm really pushing back and I'm really feeling it through that leg. Okay? So when it starts talking to you, stay for another couple of turns, then step in, step back, go out with the toes, go in with the toes. Okay? With your feet, your whole foot. See that? So yeah, I can bring my knees in and then come back. Bring my knees in and then come back. Bring my knees in and come back. Then I'm gonna go out, out, out as far as I can. Take a big deep breath. Bend just a little, and then come back. Tight tummy. Bend, bend, bend. Come back. One more. Here we go. Bend, 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 and come back. Now remember which foot was in front? I was like this. Switch. Now, when you start your tandem stance, okay, I mean your split leg stance, that's what I mean. Use your pole, okay? Because you're gonna get off balance. In fact, I want you to get off balance. See how I'm just a normal width apart with my legs? See that? Okay, I want to make this more challenging. Number one, grip your pole with just your index finger and your thumb. Drop your shoulders. Okay, remember this? Just do that. And then bring your leg more into a tandem split stance. So the tandem means we're in a straight line. No, you don't have to do it this way if you're constantly getting off and it's such a negative thing because you keep, catching yourself. That's not very fun. So take a little wider stance. That's okay. But here's what you need to do. Notice which foot in front gives you the more challenging moves. Okay, so now I'm in my tandem stance. If I need this, I'll put it down quickly. See? But I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to go out. Then I'm going to come in, and I'm going to flare those elbows, and I'm going to drop that shoulder, and I'm going to pull those elbows back, and I am not going to break the wrist here. My wrist stays neutral. Stay right there. Take a big breath. Take a big breath. Take a big breath. Pull those elbows back. Drop your shoulders. Big breath into the nose. Yes. And then come back and come back. And come down and come down. And you come out of that tandem stance and you go out. And you go in. And you go out. And take a big deep breath. Now you take your pole and you take one arm, okay? Just like this. And you bring it back as if you were going to put that pole behind your neck. See that? And then I come back and then I come back down. So I want you to be gripping something. If that gives you a problem, then of course, just pretend that you're going to come up, you're going to turn the pole and put it behind your back. See what I'm doing? I'm rotating in an up position with my shoulder. Take a big deep breath in through the nose. Use it with a pole or without a pole. I don't care. This is giving you a guide. See, I'm turning, and then I'm going to do what? I'm going to have palm up, and I'm going to try to slip the pole behind my back, behind my head. Then I'm going to come up, I'm going to rotate, and I'm going to rotate down. And I'm going to come back. See that? And now I'm going to turn, and I'm going to act like I'm going to put the pole behind my back, behind my neck. My elbows high, then I'm going to bring that out, and I'm going to rotate back and down. I'll do that a couple of times, maybe. So this should be giving you a pretty good idea of how your shoulders rolling, okay? Now, I did one whole set just standing on the floor, right? Now I'm going to do the other set standing on the pad. So here I am. I'm going to bring this up, drop my shoulders. See, I'm going to come up, then I'm going to turn, and my hand is up, and now I'm going to rotate, bring that pole right behind my neck, right behind my head or my back. Then I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to rotate it back again and down. So I'm going to come up. I'm going to rotate, bring it up here, just like I'm going to throw a spear. And then I'm going to bring it back behind my head. Now, when you go behind your head, I know what happened. What happened? You put your head forward. See, I'm right here. Then I'm going to rotate and put this down. So it's this rotation right here that's going to trip some of you up with your shoulder. So you're doing this to check in with yourself. If this is too much to go up here, then rotate with it lower. That's fine. I'm trying to take baby steps to getting you to fully function and rotate in that shoulder joint. See, I'm going to come up here like I'm going to throw a spear, Then I'm going to take it behind my head. And my elbow is way up. And what am I not doing with my head and my neck? What am I not doing? I heard you. You're not making your neck and your head go forward. And you see, I'm just pressing into the balls of my feet. Then I'm going to go way up. Then I'm going to bring it back down like I'm going to throw a spear. Now here comes the rotation and down. See that rotation? Let's do one or two more here. Just stay with me, okay? And on your little pad, you're actually pushing into the balls of your feet. And then you're rotating into the heels a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, you don't purposely do it, but you're going to do that kind of a thing if you keep your knees soft. If you lock your legs out, you're going to be toast. You're going to be stepping off your pad all day long. Bend those knees, okay? Tighten in, drop your shoulders, drop the chin in, okay? I'm going to come up, keep my shoulders down, come up, okay? Then I'm going to rotate like I'm going to throw a spear. See that? Like I'm going to throw a spear. And then I'm going to rotate, and I'm going to put that spear behind my back. And I'm not going to lean my head out. And then I'm going to come up. I'm going to come back into that spear throwing. And then, without dropping the elbow, I'm going to rotate and bring it all down. Okay? Some of you that never have shoulder issues, you don't have any hang-ups in your shoulder, don't understand why I'm going so methodically and slowly. But those of you who have shoulder issues understand perfectly well why. Okay, now I'm going to come to the edge of my little balance pad with my bare feet. I'm going to put a heel and I'm going to drop my toe down. See that? I'm just going to drop it down. I'm going to straighten that leg. Just one leg, one foot, one foot's on, one foot's off. Heel is on the balance pad. Now, really go into a gentle hyperextension. Let me warn you, the minute you start to push your hips forward, you're going to lose balance, okay? That's why we have this little treasure in our hand, okay? So this time, instead of gripping it with an index finger and a thumb, I want you to grip it, because see, we're pushing our hip forward, okay? That's going to throw your balance everywhere. I have one heel on the front end of my balance pad. See, my legs are straight. I'm pushing my hip back. I want to stay solid, so use your pole, okay? You are going to thank me the minute you come out of this move. Drop your shoulders, breathe through the nose. Okay, really push, really push. Okay, now push the hips back gently, soften up the knees, step your other leg, your front leg back, okay? And we're gonna go to the other one. Oh my goodness, you never thought you could do this much on a little balance pad, did you? I got lots of little, see, I was dreaming some of this last night. I was thinking, what can we, oh, I came up with these things. I'm just kidding. I do study about this stuff. Okay, heel, yes. The minute you put your heel out there, some of you caved. You wonder how I know that. I can see you in my mind in the class, in the gym right now. Okay, so here we go. My knees are still soft. My heel is on the front edge, and I'm going to drop the toes, okay? Grip your pole, because now you're ready to straighten the legs, and you're pushing your hips forward. Don't turn. Some of you who have a very tight hip, and you don't even realize the pain is coming from a tight hip, okay? The minute you start to push forward, that tight hip, you're gonna twist yourself toward it. So try not to do that, okay? How do I know this? Because I'm right here. I know what's going to happen. I'm just knowing because I've studied how this works. And I want you to be straight on. You're pushing your hips forward, your legs, your knees are straight, very straight. Not really locked, but straight. I'm balancing. See, I can move my pole, but be careful because in this position, you want to be really good with the pole hold, okay? Keep your hips forward, pushing, push, push, push. Yeah, push. Keep your chin tucked. Breathe, 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 breathe. And now push your hips back. And you come back. So what you're trying to do is kind of hit that stance for at least 10 seconds, maybe 15, even up to 30 seconds each. That would be really good. Okay. Okay. Here's my pole. Here's my chair. I'm going to put my hands, see that? Right there with my pole. I'm going to take a wide stance. So what's a wide stance? Well, wider than your hips, okay? Wide stance, right there. So it needs to be wider than your hips. Wider than, or as wide as your kitchen chair legs, okay? So I'm gonna go into a hip hinge, and then I'm gonna come back. So I'm gonna go into a little hip hinge, and then I'm gonna come back. You remember I introduced, I've done this a lot. I just called it something different. And I tried to make a point of doing like a little bouncy move. Now I don't use that word often because bouncing implies you're out of control. So you're doing a little bit of a hip hinge and then going straight into a straight leg pop. See, it's a hip hinge. It's kind of like you're doing a little pony ride. See this? Now we could really do it like this, which this would be fine. But however, when you're doing this kind of a little bouncy motion, you have to say rib cage up especially, and do not lean in. Big breath. So it's a little, so I'm going to do a series and then I'm going to go boom, straight. See that? Okay. Great move for your knees, hips, and ankles. So I'm going to go into that little, it's like you do on a rebounder. Have you ever been on a rebounder? I have one at the gym. I have one downstairs. I try to get on it. And it's this kind of motion that is a really, and I liken it to doing a rebounder, okay? Some people would associate this move with riding a horse, okay? This kind of, and then go straight. So see how I did several of those? And then I went straight. I still have my pole. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and straight. So 2 8 bounces and then a straight. See that? Here's the other thing that I would be looking at if I came into your room right now. I would be looking at your knees, the position of your knees when you do the bounce. If you're doing the bounce and you're doing this, that is not what we want. Or if you're doing the bounce and you're doing this. So bring your knees right in line with your hip and your ankle, okay? And come down, and we're gonna stay in the down position. So think of yourself as being on a rebounder, okay? In order to do that, you have to push into the balls of your feet. Your heels are light, okay? You're pushing into the balls of the feet. In fact, when I'm doing this, I'm almost bringing my heels off the ground, okay? Take big breaths, big breaths. I can push and pull. I can do my little rotation. See, I'm just coming to shoulder height right now, Tight tummy, drop your shoulders, whether you use your bar right now or not, and then go straight. Okay, so I did a couple more. I know. I'm going to do one more set here. I really want you to get this. This motion is an exaggerated benefit or an exaggerated motion of what we do when we walk. Okay, I'm just bringing it into a little wider challenge. And that movement done with pushing into the front of the feet, getting a tiny lift on the heels. Those of you who used to jump rope with me, you know exactly what this is, right? But I'm showing you this because there's so many of us with replaced joints that don't get this kind of motion anymore. We've quit playing a lot of different things that causes us to get this motion. So make sure that your rib cage is up. You can use your hands in and out, or you can do little arm challenges, okay? Whichever you choose. But what you can't do is this. If you're worried about what you're doing with your upper body and you forget your stance, then don't use your hands. Just hold on to the pole, okay? So wide stance, and I'm gonna do that little, for a lack of a better word, a bouncy motion, okay? It's actually an up down, just like you would get if you were jumping rope, if you're riding a horse, if you were walking very fast, okay? Or if you were rebounding, okay? This kind of a thing. So this kind of a motion, whether or not you use your upper body, is beside the point. Say you're still in control, but you're pushing into the front of the feet. And then at the end of a series of bouncy moves or controlled jumping moves, you're gonna go straight and you're gonna tighten in, tighten in, tighten in, tighten in, tighten in. Big breath through the nose and then walk, 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 walk. Step onto your pad, take your pole. Your feet are gonna be now hip width. We're gonna go down, down, down. We're gonna lay this pole right across the front edge of our pad. See that? So I'm way down here. I'm gonna turn to the side so you see what I'm doing. See this? I put my pole down, but here's what I didn't do. I want you to go down as low as you can. So this is what you would know as a fold. You will not see me put my head down lower than my hips, okay? So try not to do that. You're gonna come down, you're gonna get your butt down, go into your heels. Do not bring the chest and the head lower than your butt. Get your butt down, then come back and open those hands out. Drop the shoulders. Act like you're gonna put the back of your hands together. Drop your shoulders again. Big breath. Rotate them in. Come down, all the way down. Act like you're gonna put that pole down. Drop your butt 1 more inch. 1 more inch. Now come back. Open those hands out. Drop your shoulders. Woo! Like you're going to put the backs of your hands together. And then you come down. Step off. Yeah. So that little fold that I had you practice, if I could have you promise me, whether or not you're standing on this pad or not, but if I could have you hold your hand up and promise me that you were going to do a carefully controlled fold every day, about 5 to 10 of them. It's this simple. Do not put your head down lower. Get your butt down. And then come back and then open those hands back. See? See, rotate them back in. Now the palms are facing back. I'm going to come down, I'm going to come down, I'm going to come down, stay into the heels. Press, get down a little lower, then come up. Drop your shoulders. Pull the backs of the hands back like they're going to touch. Okay? That's how I want you to do a fold. Back down. You're at a hip width distance apart with your legs. Come down a little bit more. Then come up, bring those shoulders up, open, and bring the backs of the arms back like they're gonna touch. Yeah, just like that. And then come back down. Okay. Now, we're gonna grab a tea towel. I haven't grabbed my tea towel in a long time, but I'm gonna grab my tea towel. Okie dokie. Uh-oh. Calm back. Okay? See the tea towel? Okay. Some of you, Ruby's a little upset this morning. Don't ask me. Okay? See this? See, I'm putting pressure. That's the point. I'm putting pressure as if I'm pulling my hands apart. When you do that, when you keep your arms very straight, not locked, drop your shoulders, pull the fists apart. It puts a very different tension or pressure through your shoulders, okay? You can do this with a simple tea towel, a t-shirt, anything you can grab that will let you really pull your hands apart. See, I'm putting a lot of pressure right now, pulling apart. And then I bring it back in. Now, if you don't have a band, you can do a tea towel. Now I'm going to grab my band because most of you out there have gotten these bands from me. This is an extra long band. And we're going to start with our hands together. Okay? Going along with our mobility class today. I'm going to move my little pad back here. And I've got my hands now. See? I'm going to step and step across. See this? See this? I can go here, I can go here. Okay? And you step up. And then you step across. So you're going to keep this kind of a thing going. So get your legs started. See, it's like this. So we're doing a very important motion for the hips right here. See that? I'm not doing a hard anything. I'm just stepping to the side. I'm pushing back just a little until I can straighten this leg. But here's the focus, right here. Okay? So those of you who are trying to regain shoulder, this is part of that. Okay? And we start with our palms facing. And as I keep doing this little side-to-side step, say rib cage up, shoulders down, soften my elbows, and then I want to really pull the backs of those hands apart. Okay? I'm going to really hold it back here. Then I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to release and come up. Okay? Now you're still going to fight for your balance because you're on that balance pad. If that's too much, whatever reason, then do this whole thing on the floor. So it might be challenging enough because you're barefooted, see? And I'm going to step, and that's fine. So you can either choose to be on the pad or off the pad. But here's what you got to do. You got to put pressure on those shoulders to get your strength back without hurting the shoulders is the point. Okay, regroup. Drop your shoulders. I got this ready. I'm gonna step. I may be on the floor, I may be on my pad. But what I am not gonna do is excessively lean forward with my chin up. I am not gonna do that. So step, okay, say rib cage up. Start with your elbows bent a little. Drop your shoulders. And now really pull those hands apart, okay? Breath. You gotta hold it here for a little bit. Breath. Breath. Drop your shoulders. Breath. Drop your shoulders in through the nose. In through the nose. Really pull, really pull, really pull. And then come back. And come back up. And go shoulders up, shoulders drop. Shoulders up, shoulders drop. Still have my band here. Remember, if I don't have a band, get yourself a little tea towel and just put pressure as if you were pulling it apart, okay? So my elbows are a little bit bent. They're not locked, and they're not way up here, okay? They're just a little bent because I want that shoulder down. I'm gonna step, and I'm gonna pull my hands apart with my shoulders down. Take a big breath. Take a big breath. So this little sideways motion that I'm getting through my hip, through my ankle, it's valuable to do little challenges like that when you're doing this kind of a thing. Now release and come back up, okay? So when you're engaged with your hands and you step to the side and you say rib cage up, you're making sure you're not leaning out too much, and then you go and take that step back. Okay, this kind of a motion, very valuable, you guys. Even though this is only 2 inches, see, you gotta get good at this. You can't have that panicky feeling as if you're gonna fall if you go from a big wide stance into here. And how do you not get the panicky feeling? You don't lock your joints. So let's do it a couple of times. Let your hands rest for a bit. Step, pull your rib cage up. I'm gonna go from here to here. You're gonna stay down. That's the secret. Don't come up here to your full height. Hip hinge, rib cage up, step. Bring it back. Rib cage up, hip hinge, step. Bring it back. Okay? Step. So you're keeping your center of gravity lower. Okay? And you do this in a little crouch position with the back very extended, and you do several of these. This is one of the best mobility challenges training that I can help you to realize. You got to get good at this big old step. And see, we're only coming up 2 inches, right? Okay, stepping back, stepping back. Now I'm going to take my fist like this. See? See? And I'm going to, this is going to take a little bit of thought, all right? I'm gripping. Number 1, I am not going to break the wrist. I'm going to keep my wrist neutral. Got it? So keeping my wrist neutral, I'm going to just act like I'm going to go from back here to here. That's it. See? So bend your hips a little. Say rib cage up. You're gripping. I'm going to go from here like I'm going to take a step, but then I go back. So I just change my mind. Okay? So you're gripping. The wrists are very neutral. So what does that mean? You got to use your chest muscles now to pull those hands apart. And you're going to act like you're going to step, but then you step back. And you're going to hold that. Here we go. Right here. Step back. Big breath. Right here, pull. Don't break the wrist. Big breath. See, I'm just gonna do a couple. And then I'm gonna release. And that should have been talking to you. So it's just, you're trying to pull those hands apart. But you gotta keep the shoulders down and you got to keep the elbows soft. Okay, and you're trying to pull it apart. So because we changed the position of the pull, you have to use your chest muscles more. Okay, so now I'm going to act like, let's do our feet first. I'm gonna act like I'm gonna take a step, but then I don't. See that? So this knee is soft, hip is just a little hinged. I'm gonna act like I'm gonna step, but then I go and put it back. See, I'm gonna act like I'm gonna step, but I put it back. The idea, of course, is to go from a back step to a holding stance. Don't overlean, and then put the foot back, okay? So I'm gonna act, I'm gonna get my hands going. My shoulders are down, tight, big breath, yeah. And don't break the wrist. You're gonna pull the hands apart, really pull them hard. Hold it there, take a breath. Act like you're gonna step. Now step back, pull. Don't break the wrist, breath. Step back, big breath. Here we go. Big breath, step back, pull, pull, pull. Step back, really keep your shoulders down. Big breath through the nose. Act like you're gonna step, but you don't. Pull, pull, keep the elbows in, elbows in. One more, one more, one more. And back. Yay. Okay. Now we're gonna do a little rebounder step or a little jump step. No, I'm not actually gonna jump. So I'm gonna put this band over my little chair. So now I'm gonna act like I'm gonna jump, but I don't jump. See that? So this is a simulated step that I would do if I were stepping on a rebounder, which is a little trampoline. That's what that is. But here's the deal. It's not like this. I'm not walking in place. I'm rebounding. I'm rebounding. See how I'm pushing with my feet? I'm pushing. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a lilt of a step. It's not applauding like you're doing walking in place. So this action that we're doing right now, see, it's a lift. It's a lift with the ball of that foot. And if you have replaced joints, especially a knee, if you've had ankle issues, if you have a replaced hip, this little press with the ball of your foot is a big deal. I know it. Sometimes you're like, you're wanting to do it, but it's like nothing's happening. Because you got a lot of retraining after you have a hip, a knee, a dropped foot, ankle issues, plantar fasciitis issues. This is part of the moving toward strength work for plantar fasciitis, actually. See, because I take a step, but then I push my heel up. So normally, this would be a skip, but I'm not leaving the ground. But I am getting the same foot motion in this kind of a lilting kind of a step, if I can call it that. So it's an up, and I don't come down with my other foot until I get the lift that I need through the balls of my feet, okay? So our dancers, if Julia's on there, she's doing all kinds of competitive dancing. This is great training for dancing, for pickleball, for so many things. So I wanted to introduce, I started it the other day, letting you see the value in the rebounding action, okay? The action that works with that kind of motion. Extremely valuable for every system in your body. Okay. Okay. Now, I'm gonna head down to the end of the class. I'm gonna step out, step out. I'm gonna drop the chest toward the legs. And I'm gonna straighten my legs. And then I'm gonna pull one toe up at a time. And with your arms way out here, don't put a lot of stress on your shoulders. The stress is in the hands. Okay, pull one toe up, then the other toe up, push your butt back, bring your chest into the legs as you're pulling those toes up. Now you're going to just swing your whole body into the seat of the chair. Okay, drop your shoulders. This is a great move to do along with your fold, the fold that I had you do earlier. So see how I'm hanging out down here? Drop your shoulders. This is great work for your shoulders. Big breath, drop your shoulders. Bring that hip toward the front of the chair. And then push your hips back. Step one leg in. Really stretch that heel back. The knee is forward here. You're going to take the opposite hand and go over the back of the chair while you stabilize with your other hand. Okay? You keep that heel down and back. Then you switch. Take your step back. Bring your hips forward again. Really hang 10 there. You're all the way down. Drop your shoulders. Breath through the nose. Breath through the nose. Then push back. Bring the other leg up. The knee is touching the chair. The opposite hand goes out over the chair. Drop the heel. Drop the heel, drop the heel, drop the heel, drop the heel. Yeah, reaching, 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 reaching. Come back in and come back in. Okay, are you ready for a post test? Yeah. Get your little chair ready. Get your little pole ready. Okay. Remember what we did at the very beginning? So I'm going to bring my tight hip up here and I'm going to drop it in. Oh my goodness. I'm going to drop it out. It is not anywhere near as tight as it was. See how my knee is soft. Breathing in, I'm going to rotate my knee across midline. Then I'm going to rotate it out. Okay, when I first did this morning, this was so much more tight. Then I'm going to come back, soften up my knee, soften off the knee that you're standing on, rotate in, then rotate out. And this is my hip replace side, so I don't push it, but I want a good rotation, okay? Just check, see how you're moving. Oh, give yourself a big hug. Drop your shoulders, a big hug, and you can open and just slap, open and slap. This is a really good move to end with. Keep your shoulders down as you go back with your elbows just a little bent. Ah, I hope you move better today. So we'll just keep working at it, won't we? You guys have a good day. I'll see you Friday.